Across history, humanity has been haunted by a recurring nightmare: war. In this series, we journey into 7 conflicts that have left an indelible scar on humanity. The year is 1939. Europe stands on the precipice of unprecedented turmoil. The world watches anxiously as tensions escalate and the shadow of war looms large over the continent. Adolf Hitler, driven by twisted ideologies and a thirst for power, sets the world on fire. His speeches, filled with venom and hatred, rally a nation behind a banner of destruction. Poland becomes the first victim, swallowed by the German war machine in a blitzkrieg of terrifying efficiency. The speed and ferocity of the invasion leave the world in shock and awe. From the frozen Eastern Front, where soldiers endure brutal winters, to the beaches of Normandy, where the tides of war shift with the D-Day landings, the world transforms into a battleground. Every corner of the globe feels the impact of this global conflict. The skies become instruments of terror, with cities like London and Berlin enduring relentless aerial bombardments. Night after night, the drone of bombers fills the air and the ground shakes with the force of explosions. Amidst the chaos, the narrative shifts to the Pacific, where Japan's surprise attack on Pearl Harbor drags the United States into the conflict. The sleeping giant awakens and the war takes on a new dimension. We witness the horrors of the Holocaust, a systematic campaign of genocide that claims the lives of 6 million Jews and countless others. The world is forever scarred by the atrocities committed in the name of hatred, and the deployment of atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, ushering in the nuclear age. The devastating power of these weapons brings the war to a close, but at an unimaginable cost. The world is left to grapple with the aftermath and the dawn of a new, uncertain era. From the ashes of the French Revolution rises Napoleon Bonaparte, a man of insatiable ambition. His quest for dominance reshapes Europe, leaving a trail of blood and conquest. From Italy to Russia, Napoleon's tactical genius and eventual downfall are chronicled. The disastrous invasion of Russia marks the beginning of his downfall. Napoleon's empire crumbles, leaving a continent scarred and exhausted. A nation forged on liberty and equality finds itself torn asunder in a civil war. The issue of slavery ignites a conflict that claims over 600,000 lives. From Gettysburg to Vicksburg, the land runs red with blood. Figures of remarkable courage and leadership emerge, guiding the nation through its darkest hour. As the dust settles, America is forever changed, a stark reminder of the fragility of unity. The Vietnam War. A descent into the jungle. The dense, unforgiving jungles of Vietnam became the backdrop for one of the most controversial conflicts in modern history. The United States, entangled in the Cold War, finds itself in a conflict that will challenge its military might and divide its people. The ideological battle between communism and democracy spills over into the lush landscapes of Southeast Asia, drawing young American soldiers into a war far from home. The Vietnam War is a guerrilla war fought in the dense jungles and paddy fields. The Viet Cong, with their intimate knowledge of the terrain, employ hit-and-run tactics, ambushes and booby traps, making every step a perilous journey for the American troops. The Tet Offensive shatters the illusion of American progress, turning public opinion against the war. This massive, coordinated series of attacks by the North Vietnamese forces catches the US and South Vietnamese armies off guard, leading to intense battles and significant casualties. Images of the fall of Saigon become seared into the collective memory. The chaotic scenes of helicopters evacuating the last Americans and desperate South Vietnamese from the US Embassy rooftop symbolize the end of an era and the failure of a prolonged military engagement. The Vietnam War ends with a somber retreat, a nation grappling with the human cost of its involvement. Veterans return home to a country divided, facing a society that questions the purpose and morality of the war. The scars of Vietnam linger, shaping American foreign policy and military strategy for decades to come. World War I. The Great War's empty promise. It was a conflict that was supposed to end all wars, but instead it set the stage for even greater turmoil in the 20th century. In 1914, a gunshot shatters the fragile peace in Europe. plunging the world into a brutal war of attrition. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand ignites a chain reaction, drawing nations into a conflict that would last 4 long years. The idyllic countryside of France is transformed into a nightmarish landscape of trenches. Soldiers on both sides dig in, creating a vast network of fortifications that stretch for miles. Life in the trenches is a daily struggle for survival, with the constant threat of enemy fire and disease. The Battle of the Somme claims over 1 million casualties for a few miles of mud. This battle epitomizes the futility and horror of trench warfare, where entire divisions are decimated for minimal territorial gain. Amidst the carnage, stories of bravery and compassion shine through. The Christmas Truce of 1914, where soldiers from opposing sides briefly laid down their arms to celebrate together, stands as a poignant reminder of our shared humanity. As the war grinds to a halt, the world is left to pick up the pieces, forever scarred by the conflict. The Treaty of Versailles officially ends the war, but the seeds of future conflicts are sown. Europe begins the long process of rebuilding, while memorials are erected to honor the fallen. The Great War's empty promise of peace lingers, a haunting reminder of the cost of war. The Korean War, a divided peninsula's agony. In the aftermath of World War II, a new conflict erupts, dividing a nation. The Korean War becomes a brutal testament to the ideological struggles of the post-war era. The Battle of Chosin Reservoir exemplifies the courage and sacrifice of soldiers on both sides. The Korean War marks the emergence of China as a major military power. While the guns eventually fall silent, the Korean peninsula remains scarred by conflict. The 30 Years' War, a continent consumed. In 1618, Europe teeters on the brink of chaos. The 30 Years' War is a brutal war of religion and power that lasts for 3 decades. From the fortified cities of Germany to the rolling hills of Bohemia, the war engulfs the continent. The sack of Magdeburg stands as a chilling reminder of the human cost of this conflict. As the war finally draws to a close, Europe lies exhausted and depleted. As we emerge from these dark chapters, the lingering question remains: what have we learned? Let the stories of these wars fuel our collective pursuit of a more peaceful future.